morning, all, and thanks for showing up. First, we'd like to have the Reverend Jim David give a blessing over this ceremony.
Let us bow our heads. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for raising up among us people who stand out for their courage and care on behalf of the wider community. We are privileged as citizens of Harwich this day to give you thanks for the many years of service that outgoing Chief William Flynn has given to this community. We pray that your blessings be on him and on his family, and that they might enjoy many wonderful years of retirement. We also give thanks that we have had not to look far and wide to find men who will continue to provide us with the leadership we need, but rather we have found them right here among those who serve us day by day. God of power and care, we pray you this day for our new fire chief, Norman Clerk. Grant him the gifts of wisdom, counsel, and fortitude as he leads the brave men and women who put their lives on the line for us all, day after day. May the distinguished service he has given to Harwich for so many years continue now from this new position of leadership. We thank you, too, for Captain Kent Farrenkopf, who will now serve as our new deputy chief. Grant him prudence and good judgment as he continues his service from this new position. Guide both Chief Clerk and Deputy Chief Farrenkopf as they strive to keep safe the brave men and women of the Harwich Fire Department, who in turn keep us all safe. Grant your blessings and safe passage to all of our first responders and to their families, and to all who serve us in positions close to home and far away through our great nation. We make our prayers as your children, trusting in your goodness and love. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Believe it or not, guys, I forgot my white hat again today, so that's why the guys don't have their hats on. I'm notorious for doing that. This is a very proud day at the Harwich Fire Department, and I'm sure that we have Captain Tilsley and Chief Hall and Captain Johnson all looking over us. Not to mention, it's a shame that Evelyn and Norman Clerk couldn't be here to see their son go ahead and at this promotion here today, also affectionately known as Ma and Pa. Like I said, some great people. Bob Peterson. You know that those guys are up there right now, probably with big smiles on their face and kind of laughing because they kind of brought Norm and I along over the years, and we've learned a lot from them. We've had a lot of laughs, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful time here at Harwich Fire Department. Going ahead and having Norman become chief is really, in my book, mission complete here. You know, we came on at the same time. We were both teenagers when we showed up here. We were welcomed with open arms and given the opportunity to go ahead and spread our wings. And how nice is it that this has happened, that he's going to go ahead and take my place. We've made a great team. We've accomplished a lot over the years, especially during some very hard financial times, but we did well. We did well. And we certainly couldn't do it with all the men and women of the fire department, that not only from the surrounding communities for their support, but also the members of the Harwich Fire Department. I've said it time and time again, I don't know how we do it. You know, it's one of those ones that we've attracted some of the finest men and women in the fire service has to offer. They're just a great bunch. There's so much talent here at the Harwich Fire Department. If there was a crisis in a small city, I bet you I can bring them in there and we can go ahead and take over and do just fine. The talent's unbelievable, and I just really want to thank all the members of Harwich and the surrounding community for their support over the years. The other thing that's great about Norman is Norman wants to go ahead and be chief here for all the right reasons. He truly cares about this town, and he truly cares about the department. And for me, that's a very comforting thought as I wind up going ahead and leaving here and walking out the doors. I'd be negligent if I didn't thank the Board of Selectmen for going ahead and appointing Norman, because I feel that it really truly shows a true vote of confidence in the Harwich Fire Department and how we've gone ahead and accomplished our mission. And as I said before, it's all because it's been a great team effort all along. It's the greatest people in the world work here, there's no question about it. The other thing, too, is that people don't really think about why this internal promotion is so good not only for the fire department but for the town, is that now we wind up going ahead and opening up other positions on the department by doing an internal promotion. And believe me, all of a sudden in the next month or so, once we go ahead and announce what's going on for the promotional exam, these guys will be hitting the books pretty hard here, reviewing old stuff. It just winds up going ahead and injecting some great energy into a department. And it's good for the town, it's good for the people, and it kind of creates a nice learning environment within the department. And so, again, just one of the benefits of a nice internal promotion. So it's been a wonderful time here, and like I said, if I had to do it all over, wouldn't have changed a thing. It's been absolutely wonderful. So without further ado, we have a little ceremony here, and first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and invite our town administrator, Jim Marion, to say a few words.
Thank you, Bill. For God and country, it's so glorious on this beautiful sunny day to see the American flag flying in such glory. Thank you all for coming here as being part of the family of the Harwich Fire Department. It means a lot to all of us that you're here and participating in this ceremony. This is a very glorious and special day for Harwich. The fire department is our pride and joy. It serves us well. We've had great leadership with Chief Bill Flynn. And the first day I was here, I actually was getting a tour with Will Remillard, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm retiring." And so I was left with working with the Board of Selectmen in filling the chief's position. And I didn't know Bill very well, but it didn't take long to find out that the community really supported Bill and the department, the whole staff. It was his turn. And I've really enjoyed my service with Bill. We've worked well together. Bill can attest that we go to other places, and we've had chiefs and firefighters in from other departments, and they really are interested in how well Harwich gets along between the Board of Selectmen, administration, and the fire department. We really work hard and strive to have a good working relationship, and that will continue with Norm Clark. Absolutely proud and to recommend Norm. He's been a partner of Bill's and worked well together as a team, and it's a natural promotion. Very easy to recommend. Norm Clark is our next chief. Norm, we wish you the very, very best in service to Harwich. Thank you for serving. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Bill, and thank you all for coming and participating in this service. Thank you.
Just to give a little history about the Harwich Fire Department, there's a great woman who lives down on Long Road, Audrey Speakman, who has kept unbelievable memorabilia about the Harwich Fire Department, and she started to go ahead and bring some things around, and I have a pamphlet here from the 9th Annual Harwich Fire Association Firemen's Ball, and it brought to light a lot of information as far as we hear about who was the first chief and who this and that, and it's really quite a great history. So I just want to read a little excerpt from it. It says, the Harwich Fire Association had its first meeting February 12, 1928, at the home of John Condon. The charter members were George Moody, Arthur Chase, John Condon, Ralph W. Eldridge, William Chase, Harold E. Sawyer, Theron C. Holmes, Bertram Eldridge, and Hilary M. LeClaire. The association formed for social and relief purposes officially began in March 16, 1928. The fire department, as such, was organized in 1914. The Buff, or volunteer department, had a Maximum chemical truck as its first piece of equipment. The first firehouse was at Bassett's Garage at Pine Street and Lower County Road. The second firehouse was at Phillips Garage in Harwichport. The present firehouse was built in November of 1928. One of the charter members, William Chase, nostalgically spoke of the old days and how he could remember when an alarm was sounded way back. We'd assemble at Condon's shoe store, and a piece of equipment would come by and pick us up and take us to the fire. The first chief of the department was John Condon. He was followed by Lawrence Homer and George Moody. After Moody retired in 1947, Norm Osby was appointed chief until August of 1950. Charles Hall was the acting chief until August of 1951, and he was made permanent chief in 1954. The reason why I bring it up, because believe it or not, Norm and I showed up with quite an interesting cast of characters, with Gordon King from Quincy, as well as Captain Tilsley, who showed up from Boston, and Chief Hall was the one that wound up going ahead and hiring us all. I think we all had the same job interview. He called us up that day and said, "Hey, you still interested in that job?" It's like, "Yeah, Chief." He goes, "Okay, I'm making my decision this afternoon." And when we all talked to each other, it turns out that we all got the same exact phone call when Charlie Hall wound up going ahead and appointing us. It's also important that when we first came here, Theron Holmes, T.C. Holmes, whose son is also now a police officer, was actually my first captain when I wound up showing up here. And there's quite a few cast of characters that I've named that actually were here when we first wound up going ahead and showing up. So this is a great piece of history. When I finish here, I have a nice book with all this history. Bruce Young Jr., having heard stories saying that his grandfather was deputy chief and his father was captain here, has done a wonderful job as far as making sure that the memories of the past members are still carried on, and I appreciate him very much for doing that. And we got some other great pieces of history to share, Bruce, so we can keep the history of the Harwich Fire Department going. So after Charlie Hall wound up going ahead appointing us, we wound up going ahead and when he left, we had another chief named Trokey, and then Bob Hudson, who we all know, wound up following him, followed by Peterson, Remillard, Flynn, and myself. So since the inception of the Harwich Fire Department, right now I'm going to go ahead and ask Anita Doucette to come up and swear Norman in as the 11th chief of the Harwich Fire Department. And at this point, too, I'm also going to ask the Farrenkopf family, as well as my wife, Leslie, and also Norm's family to come on up and join us in the circle here for the swearing in.
Clerk, Jr., do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I will support the Constitution thereof. So help me God. I, Norman M. Clerk, Jr., do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as the Chief Engineer of the Fire Department, according to the best of my abilities and understanding, agreeable to the rules and regulations, the Constitution and laws of this Commonwealth. So help me God. I, Norman M. Clerk, Jr., do solemnly swear that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States.